And now we have two types of processing for two types of books. We have hardcover books and softcover books. And there's a slight variation of how to process them, and I'm going to show you right now. Start with the hardcover book. In general, with books, you're going to have to stamp them with CCNY stamp on all sides. Insert a piece of title tape, a book plate, if the header page is blank, and put a due date slip in the back. So we can start with the easiest part, and taking the stamp here. There's various stamps of different sizes. We have this big one here, and we have this small one here. In case it's a tiny book, sometimes it's really tiny, so we need a smaller one. So we take a bigger one, like this, and you can tell if it's front-wise. It says CCNY. Or if you read it and it looks like a mirror image, then you know that it's facing the right way. So you start with the top, the middle, and the bottom. If you mess up with the stamp, you can erase it by using sandpaper. It's a little bit long, but it works. And the next step, probably want to put in the title tape. This is a hardcover book using single-sided title tape, shorter ones. Depending on the book, sometimes you can't really get in there. You can either just slip this in here, or you can take this stick here, using it as an extension. So you peel off the title tape, and you stick it on the corner, and put the stick through. Like that. Bring it out until the title tape's inside the book. And you close the book, and you bring the stick out, hopefully by itself. Perfect. So the title tape should be on the inside of the spine. It's a hardcover, that's how you generally do it. You try to put it on the inside of the spine in here. Let's see. Now we did the stamp and the title tape. Now we do the book plate. Generally, if the book doesn't come with any specific instructions, this one does. It says put a special good plate with this person's name, James S. Russell. This is how an ordinary book plate looks. But in general, we have to go through, there's a template saved on the computer for special book plates. And we input the person's name here. And his name is James S. Russell. We use a special type of like yellow construction paper. Well, not construction paper, but printer paper. And we put it, we have a little desktop printer there. We can print it from there, or we can put it, if you want to do extra work and save ink, you can go put the paper in the printer outside, laser printer, and print it from there. You bring it back, it comes back in a sheet of 6, and then we cut it using a paper cutter. But I've already done it for you. So, what we do with a book like this is we just put a little bit of glue. You can do it around the edges. Just make sure that's the cover. All right. And you put it relatively in the middle. And then you can just put a little bit of extra glue in case it's not enough. Close it, press on it. Okay, and you got a book plate. So processing, you have CCNY stamp, the book plate, you put the title tape, and then you put a due date slip on the back. You can put it either on the opposite page or right on the back page with the barcode. I usually do it out of habit. And it looks more symmetrical to put it underneath the barcode. And that's generally it. The last step is to actually put the spine label on the front of the book. Now you just want to double check that there's one on the inside. There's usually one should be a call number written on the inside of the verso of the title page. But I just don't want to put any old number in there. I'm going to double check in the computer to make sure it's the right number. This way. Okay. Wake it up. Password is library. You're going into the Aleph program under the cataloging module, which is around, well, it's already in here, but you got different modules like circulation, just the 2 arrows here in the middle. You have this one, the second one on the left is cataloging, and that's the one where we go when we want to print barcodes. So as long as this status over here says barcode, and the drop menu over here, then you highlight the cursor here, then you scan the barcode with the scanner, or you can type it in, and the book should come up with this information. This title should say Sphere in the Labyrinth. Yep, Sphere in the Labyrinth. And the sublibrary is Architecture, and this should be the call number, NA500, and you press label on the right. Now sometimes it's going to be missing the sublibrary up here, and that's where you have to pay extra attention to make sure it doesn't say Science Library or Architecture. So say if it was missing that, and you double check to say that's not Architecture, because sometimes it can be an art book and it's really just NA. You just want to make sure you put it in before you print it out. So you're going to put ARC for Architecture. And everything else is correct. Sometimes the call number can be misaligned, like this number can be like up here. It's always going to be the sublibrary followed by the letter, classification followed by the number, and point whatever. So it's never going to look like that or something like that. It's always going to have, the letter is always going to be by itself. Unless it's Bliss, I think, but for the most part it's supposed to look like this type of format. And then you press print. Just want to make sure that it's lined up. Yeah, you want to make sure that the M over here is within the spine label. So you press print. And since it's already done, but I'll leave that there and I'll use these two. You put one copy of the spine label, if it's not already done, inside here with the copyright information. That's way in case for some reason the barcode's missing and the call number on the front's missing. At least you'll have at least one more space that you can look for the classification without having to do extra work. And then you put a copy of the spine label out here, and then you use a piece of tape. And you put it on like this. Voila, you have a perfectly cataloged hardcover book.